Sidious was the emperor of the Imperial regime and controlled majority of the galaxy with an iron fist. However, arguably, he left majority of the work to his underlings such as Tarkin Vader and many more, which allowed many of these people to vastly expand their own power base. But as in many of these cases, this often results in individuals seeking power for themselves. So this beckons the question, what would have happened if Sidious was ousted from power? Now, for this rethink, we're going to be talking about if a group of military governors and other high-ranking officials decided to launch a coup against Sidious and the Empire in an attempt to seize power for themselves. Now, this did actually happen a few times under Sidious's rule, where overzealous leaders would attempt to take power from Sidious. But for this theory, we're going to be saying that one of these plots actually work. So, how would it play out and what would it mean for the galaxy at large? Well, firstly, we need to understand who would want to betray Sidious. Now, since the Emperor did allow most of his military governors relative free reign, most of them didn't have much of an issue with him. They'd grown incredibly wealthy, plundering worlds of wealth and skimming much of it for themselves. However, this meant they often took part in brutal power plays against one another, to embarrass or even kill rivals to increase their power base. Now, Tarkin was very much at the top of Sidious's food chain, and I find it very unlikely that he would ever really turn on the Emperor. He was a firm supporter of the autocracy and cared little in the ways of personal wealth, so he would almost definitely be out of any coup attempt. Just as well, because he was hated by most of the other Moffs more than anything else. So we're going to say a small group of military leaders and governors, supported by some rogue senators, decide the time has come to remove Sidious and his loyalists. This may happen because in general, the Imperials weren't big fans of the Sith. Serving alongside the Jedi and what happened following that would make them dislike most of the Force users, so we're going to say that that's a big part of their motivation to cleanse the galaxy of the Sith as they did the Jedi and take power for themselves. Now, importantly, you can't take Sidious down with military might. The army and navy are all securely pledged to him above all else. So for this reason, you need to take down Sidious more covertly. Luckily, these military leaders are amongst the few people in the galaxy who ever had a chance of seeing the Emperor in person. And although it wouldn't be easy, they could manage to get an explosive close enough to kill him. This did almost happen, however, Vader was there to save the day. But we're going to say somehow, perhaps at a medal ceremony, they managed to kill Sidious. So what happens? Well, this creates a problem. As we know, Sidious didn't really have a successor. It's likely Tarkin would attempt to take temporary control until it was all sorted out. For this reason, it will be essential that the coup members have Tarkin arrested ASAP. Again, Tarkin was not popular at all, and if the traitors were able to convince the army and navy chiefs of staff that he was behind the killing of Sidious, then he could be arrested and quickly executed. Now, as for Vader, he's at a loss. Without his master, he's essentially useless. Remember, he holds no official rank in the Empire. However, he's still very dangerous, so an ambush on the Sith Lord and his Inquisitors is likely the best way to deal with them. The traitors would probably also want to frame him as part of the coup as well, which probably won't be very hard. It's not difficult to convince people that a Sith killed another Sith. Now they have successfully destroyed the Sith and taken down Tarkin, and would likely quickly be mopping up all other Sidious loyalists. Well, now they have to take power and they would likely assume a tribunal of military staff made up of coup operatives to take temporary control during the crisis. This gives them unrestricted control over the military and navy. Honestly, it would likely not really cause a great deal of problems for most of the galaxy's residents. It's still purely an autocracy at heart, it's just someone else is running it. And people learnt a long time ago not to question what the Empire was doing. So these new ruling councillors are going to start carving up the galaxy and plundering as much wealth as they can, because that's all they really did. They were in it purely for self-benefit. They would probably fully dismantle the Senate, as the illusion of democracy isn't really something that they cared about, even pretending to represent. Now the problems start, however. Without Sidious and Tarkin to keep these leaders in line, their only enemy is one another, and they would begin playing out their power plays again. However, it'd be on a much larger scale. For months and possibly years following, the galaxy would be incredibly unstable as assassinations, proxy wars, and criminal acts ravage different sectors, until eventually one of these Moffs comes out to be the last one alive. Simply put, I highly doubt that most of Imperial Command would be capable of sharing power without Sidious and Tarkin there to govern what they can and can't do. They existed to serve themselves in most cases, and those who believed in the Empire would be swept away or would be too naive to know what was going on. Eventually, the galaxy would return to how it was under the Empire. However, it would be weakened due to infighting, and more insurgents would be cropping up quicker than ever before, many of which will have been loyalists to other military governors who were killed. However, without Sidious's tricks and schemes, the Empire would never probably be defeated. It's likely this governor who did become the new emperor would start somewhat of a galactic dynasty, where the role of emperor wouldn't be elected or anything like that, it would simply be passed to his next of kin. And this would be made up of the most brutal and cutthroat commander left standing. But what do you guys think? Could Imperial officials organise a coup? And what effect do you think it would have on the galaxy at large? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share and sub, as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @TheLawGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. Thanks again for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.